COP26 is the conference of the parties, the 26th conference of the parties to the UNFCCC, the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change. And it will take place from the 1st to the 12th of November of this year in Glasgow in the Science Centre there.
COP26 is important for several reasons. First of all, states have to renew their pledges and be more ambitious this year to come up with targets that are corresponding to the pathways of the 1.5 special report of the IPCC to reduce carbon emissions so that the temperature target of the Paris Agreement can be met. And much will depend on the political will to wrap up the outstanding legal issues, in particular under Article 6 of the Paris Agreement, these markets and non-markets cooperative approaches, the mechanism and the framework of non-market approaches that this provision envisages. But also to wrap up some of the methodological issues regarding timeframes and the common reporting formats. And this is linked to raising ambition, because for many states, their conditional pledges depend on the availability of market mechanisms, but also on availability of additional financial means to support their ambition. We've successfully applied for funding to the Royal Society of Edinburgh and have now some funding available in terms of a network funding grant, but also in terms of providing support to countries in raising their ambition levels. And this is a very exciting project, and we envisage to have a roundtable during COP26 in the Glasgow Science Centre to discuss policy reports, but also ways forward in raising the ambition levels in particular countries we are working with.
The University of Dundee is working closely with Durham University on this project, and together we are working with these developing countries to enhance their ambition and also to enable them to take adaptation measures. And that feeds nicely into other projects we are also having with these countries. One of them is about improved healthcare in Nigeria supported by renewable energy. The project that is financed by the Royal Society of Edinburgh is under the direction of Professor Peter Cameron, who is the director of the Centre for Energy, Petroleum, Mineral Law and Policy here at the University of Dundee. He is the principal investigator. And that makes it possible for a critical mass of researchers from across the university to be involved in this particular project. We are from the center, we are leading an effort across the university to mobilize our researchers from the geography department, from the law school, and also from engineering to bring the full capacity for research and engagement of the university to bear on this particularly important project.
For Durham University, I'm the academic lead for COP26 activities, and so to ensure that we have some critical mass to contribute or make a good contribution to COP26 from the academic standpoint, I've organized a preparatory lecture series on the road to COP26, where leading experts provide in a monthly series insights into what matters for COP26. We also have Durham University-wide event series where the research institutes, the Durham Energy Institute and the Institute for Hazards and Resilience and Risk are contributing through events jointly with other departments from the 4 faculties to provide insights and also education to the wider public, to policy experts and to academia and to our students as well. And we are also contributing to the COP26 Universities Network, and several academic staff members have contributed to the Climate Expo, which was a big event, a very big conference last week. Now, in terms of other cooperative and research projects, researchers from the University of Dundee, Durham universities, other universities around the world, in fact, and think tanks, but also from legal practice have joined forces, and we have set up the International Research Advisory Board, or IRAB. And within that board, we are providing capacity building support through research-led approaches for countries, mainly in the global south, with them as our partner countries. And at the moment, we are focusing on Uganda, Nigeria, and Bangladesh, because they have questioned and have posed us with these requests to provide them very concrete support in developing their climate laws, to implement the Paris Agreement's requirements, and also to develop rules that implement their climate frameworks.
Yes, and the University of Dundee has very long-standing ties with Africa in particular, going back a very long time. And we're using this to work with them on this particular issue of climate change and how to make that transition. So we have several partners in Africa, university partners, including Covenant University, UNILAG, and University of Uganda. And we have built on that long-standing cooperation to mobilize the relevant colleagues and to have partners that we can discuss these projects with and ensure that real impact occurs in those countries. How do we define success? Success will look like improved legislative frameworks in African countries that enable them to make the transition to a more sustainable energy system. Legislation ranging widely from climate legislation to specific legislation, for instance, on bottled gas. And it will also success will also mean that these countries have better access to finance, and they have better access to the market mechanisms that are being negotiated. So overall, it means success for us means a faster and more just transition in African countries.
Now, in addition to that, I think increased ambition levels will define success as well, and that means ambition levels raising across the globe, especially in developed countries where countries have benefited and profited from using greenhouse gas emissions in the past, and they're now in a much better position to make deeper cuts in greenhouse gas emissions and also to provide the support so that developing countries don't have the need for poverty eradication to explore fossil fuel resources that they still have. And I think a second point is that the Paris Agreement envisages trust and very close cooperation between states, and success would mean that this trust is created increasingly so, and that also cooperation between states is strengthened on that basis. And that then can lead to wrapping up these outstanding legal issues that are highly political, not just technical, at COP26 and CMA3.